All right, everyone. We are going to talk about analytical. That's a strength for today. Now, the analytical strength is a strategic thinking strength. And here's something that's really cool. So I've been doing the strengths in alphabetical order. We just got started. This is my fourth video. And already we've covered all four domains because the first four, they're each in their own domain. We talked about achiever, which is an executing strength. We talked about activator, which is influencing. Adaptability is relationship building. And here we are now, analytical, and it is a strategic thinking strength. So I think that's really cool. So let's talk a little bit about analytical. And this doesn't require a great deal of analysis. Okay, no pun intended. It's pretty clear cut. The analytical strength, of course, if someone has high analytical strengths, that means they really like to break down data. They like to interpret the data. These are kind of like numbers people. Numbers don't lie, and so these are great people to have around if you're not high analytical, because a lot of our decisions in this world, this isn't a bad thing, this is just human nature, but a lot of our decisions that we make in this world are really based on emotion. We buy based on emotion, whether we're buying a product or we're buying into a concept or an idea. Emotion plays a bigger role in that a lot of times than the facts or anything else. We get excited about things. And so we really need, those of us that are not analytical, we need these analytical folks around because I think they help kind of give us perspective sometimes. They don't let us go too far with the emotion. They'll kind of help us pump the brakes on that a little bit if we're listening and if we tune into them and we value what they have to offer. So I really like the analytical strength. Now I want to tell you right now, I do not have high analytical. Analytical for me is number 21. And interestingly enough, I always look at my wife Kim's strengths and where they fall for her, and it's also her number 21. So that's kind of just a weird coincidence. But for both of us, this is not definitely not high in our sacred strengths, but it's also not way down in our shadow strengths. This is kind of no man's land. It really doesn't. We can do it if we have to, but it's not something that really gives us joy, and it doesn't help to define who we are, what we do, and how we do it. So, but there are those analytical people out there, and because we own our own business, we're growing our business. We're looking for analytical people to help give us some insight into some things. That's very powerful insight, and I think a lot of times and I think in business, I think it happens in other areas of life as well, but in business, we come up with a new program or a new concept or a new way of doing something, and we get very excited about it. And again, that's an emotional response, right? So we go all in based on an emotional response. And sometimes what we're excited about is not necessarily what someone else is going to be excited about. So that's again where that analytical strength comes in. So a person with high analytical strength will say, well, let's show me the numbers on this. Let's show me the data. I want to break this down. I want to understand exactly why it is that you're so excited, because I'm not going to get excited until I see proof. Okay, that's what analytical people like. They want to see proof. Analytical people take the emotion out of the equation. Now that is both on the sacred side, that's a benefit, but when we start talking about the sinister side, it's the same thing. What's the sinister side of the analytical strength is that they take the emotion out. If it goes too far, they can take too much emotion out of it. And when they take the emotion out, that's when a lot of times they get disconnected. They get disconnected from others because they're not getting excited with the other person. They're kind of hitting the brakes, and for For the person that is excited, they're like, "Whoa, gosh, why isn't this person excited? Why are they a buzzkill? Why are they raining on my parade here? Why do they want to do all that? Why don't they just trust me, trust that I'm excited, and trust my intuition on this?" Well, analytical people, that's not the way they operate. So where this can go really south is that a lot of times if people are with high analytical, take it to an extreme, to an unhealthy extreme, what can happen is they can come off as rude, or they can come off as asocial, and they can just come off as being contrary all the time. And that just makes it so they're not really, the non-analytical person is not going to see them as a fun person to hang around with, because they're not really seeing the value of the analytical person, and the analytical person is not understanding the impact they're having, the negative impact they're having on the person they're talking to. Nobody, when they're excited about something, wants to be told, "Don't get excited. Don't be excited about that." Well, they are excited about that. They're passionate about that. And there's a reason for that. So analytical people have to kind of keep that balance. They have to understand, yeah, you can say, "Hey, let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the data. Let's validate all this. And let's go through it." But they need to also be able to say, "I understand that you're excited. I understand that you're passionate about this. And I want to get there too. Let's analyze this. Let's break this down, and let's work together on that." And if they can approach it from that direction, then they're going to have much better social interactions. It's one of the things that we know about analytical people is they do actually crave, or have, I shouldn't say crave, they do have a need for other people, even though they sometimes seem like they can be a loner. They're fine just being analytical and doing their thing. They don't need people. They don't need those that social interaction or that sense of community. It's not true at all. They do need that. They just express things a little bit differently, and they can come off, if it goes to the sinister side, they can come off as acting like they don't need that, or they don't value that social interaction or that sense of community. So there you have. I think that pretty well covers analytical. It's not a complex strength here, so there's not a lot for me to continue expanding on in this category, but with this particular strength. But I do think it's a fascinating strength, although it's not complicated. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you are high analytical, I'm looking for you, because I need you in my life, because I do not have high analytical, and I would love to be able to share some things with you, and to be able to bounce ideas off of you and have you analyze the data to help me grow our business in the right way. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And what are we doing tomorrow? Let me check my notes. Tomorrow is the last of the A's. We're going to do the arranger strength. Thank you again for watching. And remember, inspiration starts here.